I started from here and I'm here and I will be here. But if today things are not moving, it's not a naiveness, out of naiveness. It is because of deliberate choice which we are making. Not more than 3 months' time, we were able to release thousands of children. If you're honest, things will change. When you join the mission, then you are really a part of the larger objective. So let's play a relay race, develop something, hand over to the stakeholder, and they will implement across the India. Change the perspective. Whatever you do, include them, be honest with them, show your sympathy, empathy with our own fellow in the city.
So today with us, we have Praveen Singh. Praveen has been with the sector for over 22 years and has experience in child rights, education, and local governance. He's currently the CEO of Apnalaya and has worked with organizations like Magic Bus, TechnoServe, Urban, and Cry. He loves to teach and is a visiting faculty at some of the leading academic institutions. Welcome, Praveen.
Thank you, Santosh.
Pleasure to have you here, Praveen. I personally know you and I know the work that you do. But for the larger audience, it will be great to tell them what you do, what does your organization do right now?
Yeah, I am an organization called Apnalaya here. I think all of you know it. Working for Urban Poor and recently joined as a CEO in this organization. And lots of responsibility on the team and on us to work on the urban poor. You know, the issue is very complex. It's not so easy. So we are trying to find out some model which can be used for one community as a particular, and then it can be shared and scale it up with other stakeholders, other NGOs, with the government bodies. So that's what we are trying to do. We are trying to build a model and we want to scale it up on the issues of urban poor in Apnalaya.
So we know about, everybody, knows about poverty, right? Now you use a specific term called urban poor. What does the term urban poor mean?
Yeah, so the moment we say that, so I will differentiate between poverty and urban poor. When we say urban poor, it means we are talking about a life. When we say poverty, it means we are talking about one theme. So it is like poverty would be a subset of the urban poor. It is not only limited to poverty, but it has things where it required like social, economic, political, your own identity, your own association with the cities. And we have this experience, unfortunate experience during COVID, that are we really feeling city as a home? And if we are feeling, then why at the distress time people are in home, and but some of the urban poor, or most of, not some, all of them were like in a distress, and you know that what it happened. So that's why saying that urban poor in by using this term gives you a sense of life. That's why I'm saying urban poor.
Okay. And so you've been with the sector for a long time, but there would have been a point where you would have decided that you will join the sector. So what was that trigger moment that you decided to join the sector?
Santosh, I'm since beginning in this development sector. I would say that when I was in the standard 8, there, because I basically belong to a very modest family from Jharkhand in Hazaribagh, and the inequality is like everywhere, where you can feel, where you can see every day and night. And then if you don't have choice to make at some point that, okay, I will go for social sector, but then it becomes a part of your life that I have to do something. Whatever I will do for my own living, but I have to contribute to reduce some sorts of problem in the society which is there. So it's a very childhood it is with me, and there is no turning point in that way, that I was doing something else and then I converted into social sector. That is not my journey. I started from here and I'm here and I will be here only.
Lovely. So you have donned many hats, and now you are a CEO of an organization as well, which is specifically focusing on the urban poor aspect. what are the learnings? What are the things that have really changed the way you look at the sector?
So when I see the sector, then we need to understand the stakeholder wise, because all the stakeholder can't be like in homogeneous. We can't just define one thing for all. So it may take some time, 3-4 minutes to explain that how things have changed. To begin with, if we see the beneficiary or the community with whom we work, or the individual or poor which we are talking, or any poor for that matter, has the situation changed? Definitely yes. So at a systemic level, without any intervention, even if there is no intervention by any stakeholder, things are evolving and things will evolve. It's a very natural process. You know that how things have evolved. So it's a natural process that, and everything we should not take in account. We should take that some of the things will change by virtue of nature. So that had changed. If you compare from 90s or 70, because I was working in 1997, so I can tell you based on my own experience that earlier community does not have so much information and knowledge and worldview about the issues. Now things have changed. It's not like you as any catalyst going to give them a first time information. They know everything. So even if you will go in a very remote area, so like tribal region, or even if you go into primitive tribe, you will not find a single person who will not be knowing what is internet. So that level of awareness is there. So that we need to understand the situation has changed at the beneficiary level. See the technology, how things have evolved all across. So like how we function as an NGO, civil society organizations, how any academic institutions functions, how government functions. Efficiency has gone up and lots of things have got changed. So now complexity is more because earlier it was like very naive, you are not knowing and therefore things were not moving. But if today things are not moving, it's not a naiveness out of naiveness, it is because of deliberate choice which we are making. And that becomes a very complex then. So I would say compared to what has changed, it has changed from simplicity to complexity of the issues, because things are at the intention level. What do you want to do? Do you really concern about the people? Are you really concerned about our own society? Are we really concerned about our own planet? And all these are the choices which we are making. It's not like we don't know anything. We know it, and therefore we are not making it, and that is very complex problem. So that is a change which we have done. Maybe a little bit philosophical. I got it. I don't know Sutos, but that is the sense I am getting it. The situation has changed. The entire environment has changed, and it required now lots of commitment and dedications and integrity and honest intervention. Everything is there. Everything free of cost is available. You need committed and honest people to serve. Wherever, I'm not saying only the civil society organization, wherever, whatever you do in your life, if you're honest, things will change. If you're not an honest, if you are selfish, then things will not change.
Right. So you've seen a major transition in the way technology has impacted the sector, how information data has impacted the sector. So what has been your wow moment in this journey? Maybe early on, now has something really stood out for you?
Yeah, definitely. So I would say that how the technology, one incident I will tell you, and that is really a wow moment for me, and I always cherish this moment because of this technology, I was able to release thousands of children who were in the bonded liver condition in the PT cotton field. And I further elaborated that how we have used it. We did like entire documentation that how children in Sihori region, I'm saying it's a part of Gujarat and Rajasthan border, in Sihori district, it's a neighborhood areas, and there is a BT cotton seed plantation was happening, and how children were taken from remote and travel areas for plugging because it required a nimble hand because plants are 3 feet height. So elder can't work, so therefore they are forcing children to work, and because they had to do pollination, and therefore lots of demand for children to work on it. And in inhuman conditions, children were working, and thousands of children were working. And I did this using the national media, international media, documented it well, telecasted all over, impacted all the stakeholders, saying that this is the situation, and you need not to do much about it. You just create the knowledge base in the society that what is happening. Tell me exactly. Tell me with the integrity. Tell me with the honesty. That's what we did, and it broadcast nationally, and then lots of other channels internationally covered it. All the stakeholders took part into it, and then not more than 3 months' time, we were able to release thousands of children. And I feel very cherished moment for me because I did this, and I always feel proud of. By using this technology, I did this.
Wow, that's phenomenal. And sorry, I missed the number of children that you have impacted. How many children were there?
More than 1,000 children.
And they actually got all these children from the tribal.
Sihori and Rajasthan, Gujarat border. Banaskantha, Sabarkantha, Sihori border.
Wow. Okay. So, taking a cue from what you said earlier, that you need people who are honest to serve, and there is a service which is involved. It comes to the point that for you need to have a good team who is honest and who is willing to serve. So, in your journey, from your experience, how do you build, nurture, and hold the team together? What is your few tips to people who want to do that?
So I always ask any newcomers or any, because I'm also visiting faculty, I inspire lots of young leaders in the colleges. I always ask and submit to each individual leaders that you join the mission, don't join the organizations. If you really believe in the mission, if you really believe in the cause, if you really want to make change there, join that. And the moment you join the organization, you start like doing job, but when you join the mission, then you are really a part of the larger objective, and that gives a lot of motivation to young youth, and even the employee and the talent which we have, even the experienced corporate people join us, and they feel very excited to do more, and they are contributing in the social sector. So I'm saying that asking them to join mission is one, and then don't worry about skill competency that can be developed. If you have really dedication to make change, which you really believe, then things can be changed. You can learn all the skills which is required to do your job.
So intent is key. Knowledge can be acquired, skills can be taught.
Yes.
Okay. So you used the term inspire. You inspire children, students to come and join a mission. Who inspired you very early in your career?
My father, because now he's no more. I was attached with him, and all the time he was to always accompany him during the classroom, during the school, because he was a teacher in a primary school in Jharkhand. So wherever in which class he goes, he takes me along. So even I was 5 year old, I used to go and sit in the class 10th. So and then I see that how he feel connected with the children who are in the class. Even I would tell you one story which always my dad says to me, that one DEO, district education officer, came and he wanted to meet my father, and my father was in the classroom and he teaching maths in the classroom of 10. He didn't come out. He said that no, I will complete my 40-minute session and then I will come. And he literally waited for 40 minutes. District education officer is big for a teacher, primary school teacher. And he waited for 40 minutes outside to just meet a primary school teacher. And this kind of, and he really honored, and finally he was like nominated by state government for presidential award. All these things happened because of his dedications, commitment, and and commitment for the mission, because he really wants to work on education sector, and all these things inspired me a lot. And these small stories was really very inspiring for me, and I will give all the credit to my dad, whatever.
That's fabulous. What are your core leadership values that has evolved over a period of time?
High level of integrity, and very honest, telling you brutal truth, what is going on. If things is not moving up, I will tell you without thinking about consequences or implications. So brutal honest with myself, not about the anyone else, but for myself, I'm very brutal honest and high level of integrity, and that really helped me a lot to take a lots of decisions in my life, because these principles were the key for taking decisions. Is it, am I being a very, I am demonstrating a very high level of integrity? Am I honest with myself? If yes, I will take that decision. So that is my really strength for me.
Lovely. We spoke about technology. Now, while it is not dependent on technology, but the key thing is innovation. Innovation is like very key for any organization. Your organization currently works in the area of urban poor. How do you manage innovation in your organization to tackle the challenges in the society?
So our model is the innovation, because, and I would say that for any civil society organizations should focus on innovation, because for a scale, for implementation, you can't beat the state. The state is there to do it, and it's their duty and responsibility to do it. Nothing. But we as a civil society organization have this luxury, I would say, that innovate, because the state has so many things to do, and they can't afford a single mistake. But as a civil society organizations in the community, we can do experiment, we can correct ourselves, we can do reinvent ourselves, we can learn from our mistake. All these things we can do it, and we have done it. So like as an organization, when earlier there were health issues and everywhere doctors can't be available on that time in 70s, I'm talking about. I will give you a sense how Apnalaya is building innovations since long. We are going to turn 50 years this year. So when we started para-professional training with the academic, with the TISS, Tata Institute of Social Service, and we said that we want to train the community women as a health worker. And that was not, and I'm talking about before the ASA worker concept came to Government of India's. On that time we did this. So this is an innovation on that time, because we were training our 10th or 8th or illiterate person for taking care of medical causes. And we did this training, and these women were really become an instrumental in reducing the infant mortality rate, because it required to recognize what is the problem child or mother is facing during ENC and PNC, and then you can seek the higher level of advice by the doctor, and you go and meet the doctor, but at least you should know the challenge, no? So first time when we provided this time, we built this kind of batch of paramedicals. That was the innovation. And then it becomes an escalator. So you see that we have in lakhs the ASA worker in country. How it has come? Because the civil society organizations have done this kind of innovations. And later on, we have a escalator for the country. So this kind of innovation is required, and definitely civil society organizations and NGOs should do. And Apnalaya has this mandate to do it. We don't just be a producing organizations. We can't be doing scaling it up by ourselves, but innovate it, hand over to the other stakeholder. They will take it from there. So let's play a relay race, develop something, hand over to the stakeholder, and they will implement across the India.
And the benefit of innovation far outweighs any multiple failures that you may have in the
Yes.
of doing the innovation, right? Because one click can really change a lot more. So you should not be afraid of venturing and failing also.
Correct. Because if you are doing in an innovation, if you're afraid with your failure, you can't do an innovation. How will you do it? Because this is the necessary condition to do an evaluation. And that we can afford in a small organization working with the community because we have a very limited number of beneficiaries with whom we live together for last 30 years. We can do this. But if you say that innovation should be happen at this scale, then this will not happen. So all this kind of experiment we believe, and we are doing it in Apnalaya. I personally believe a lot on this.
Yeah, so you mentioned that government continues to do their work. Civil service, entity will continue to do their work and complement the work that the government does.
Definitely, yes.
So, what are your tips for organizations or individuals who want to enter into this sector with all honesty? How can they work together with the government? What are the various ways they can partner?
So I'm saying that don't start by thinking that I will work for this entity or that entity. Just see that what value addition you can do. And how will you identify what value addition you can do unless you don't know the things in totality? So before venturing out on any activity, understand the context, understand the various efforts which has been made by the various stakeholders. Give due respect to all of them, and then see that where your skill set or your interest lies, and then start contributing and filling the gaps. The moment you start filling the gaps, everyone will approach you. Government will approach you, other civil society organizations will approach you, media will approach you, academic institutions will approach you, and Santosh will approach you to ask to share some of the learning in this kind of talk.
That's lovely. I think it's a great tip. That continue to do what you do and focus on the process. So, as a final question, Praveen, that not question actually. How do you want people to contribute to Apnalaya's journey? How can they come and work with you in what capacity?
So same thing, I would say that join the Apnalaya's mission. Don't join the Apnalaya. What will you do in a small organization where we are like doing lots of innovations anyway? So I'd say that join the mission. What is the mission? We are saying that let's think about the poor who are living in the neighborhood. Whatever you are doing it, whether you are a doctor or journalist or writer or artist or a sportsman, whoever you are, contribute in your own way to this issue. If you are a sportsman, can you go out and play with these kids? Can you teach them how to play properly? If you're a writer, write it properly, put them in the right context. Don't always put them on a corner. Don't always put them as a negative picture. If you're a filmmaker, don't start your movie by saying that all the villain is here. So all the evils are coming from the poor areas. Let's start from all the brightness is coming from the poor areas. So change the perspective. Whatever you do, include them, be honest with them, be show your sympathy, empathy with our own fellow in the city.
Thank you so much, Praveen. It was like lovely talking to you, and you've spoken with absolute honesty and from your heart. Okay, we could sense that in the conversation. Wishing you all the very best for the work that you're doing at Apnalaya. Thank you.
Thank you, Santosh. Thank you.